Namaskar. Today we'll discuss programmable logical controller, which is also known as PLCs. So this is a very important part of control system. So we'll discuss today the all main features of programmable logical controller. So in this lecture we'll discuss history of PLCs, then relay ladder logics, then the functions or content of PLCs, that is central processing unit, input output systems, programming and peripheral devices, some programming concepts and its applications. So in process control we know the steps. So to process the information, recognizing the status is very important, and rules and guidelines are important. Once we know the rules and guidelines and once we recognize the status, then we can process the information and accordingly actuate the control elements. So this is the basic principle of process control. It is used in automation. So why automation is required in any industry? For higher productivity, to get a superior quality of end product, to get a efficient usage of energy and raw material, and to improve safety in working conditions. So these are some reasons for which we are going for automation. So automation, so the history of process control and automation, if we see, so initially, so all the processes are controlled manually at the initial stages. Later on it is controlled with the help of hardware control, then electronic control, and nowadays PLC control. So these are the stages of process automation. What does PLC stands for? So PLC is a programmable logic controller. PLC implements logic controller functions by means of a program. How it is defined? So definition according to NEMA standards ICS 3 1978, a digitally operating electronic apparatus which uses a programming memory for the internal storage of instructions for implementing specific functions such as logic, sequencing, timing, counting, and arithmetic, to control through digital or analog modules various types of machines or processes. So this is the definition of PLC. All of you note down and remember this definition. So it is a digitally operating electronic apparatus which uses programming memory for the internal storage of instructions for implementing specific functions such as logic, sequencing, timing, counting, and arithmetic, to control through a digital or analog modules various types of machines and processes. So how does a PLC differ from a computer? So all of you know, you are familiar with computer, you are using computers, but in industries, instead of microprocessor computers, so many places PLCs are interfaced or used. So let us see the difference between PLC and computer. A computer is optimized for calculation and display tasks. A computer is programmed by specialists, whereas the PLC is designed for logic control and regulation tasks. A PLC is programmed by non-specialists, and a PLC is well adapted to industrial environment. So this is the major difference between the computer and PLCs. In computer there is a CPU, all of you know the processor, the microprocessor is there, but here the PLC controller is there. So the origin, if you see the history of PLC, the origin. So the developed to replace relays in the late 1960s. The cost dropped and become popular by 1980s. Now these PLCs are used in many industrial designs. So let us discuss the historical background. The Hydramatic division of General Motors Corporation specified the design criteria for the first programmable controller in 1968. Their primary goal was to eliminate the high costs associated with inflexible relay controlled systems. The controller had to be designed in modular form so that sub-assemblies could be removed easily for replacement or repair. The control system needed the capability to pass the data collection to a central system. The system had to be reusable. The method used to program the controller had to be simple so that it could be easily understood by plant personnel. So in 1968, programmable concept developed. In 1969, hardware CPU controller with logic instructions, that is 1000, 1K of memory and 128 input-output points was developed. In 1974, the use of several multiprocessors within a PLC, timer and counters and arithmetic operations of 12K of memory and 1024 input-output points was used. In 1976, the remote input-output system introduced, and in 1977, microprocessor-based PLC was introduced. Then in 1980s, intelligent input-output modules developed, enhanced communication facilities, enhanced software features, for example documentations, and the use of personal microcomputer as programming aid was started since 1980s. Then in 1983, low-cost small PLCs were introduced, and in 1985, networking of all levels of PLC, computer and machine using SCADA softwares were developed after 1985. Okay, this is about history of PLCs, and after 85 it is becoming popular. So there are many advantages of using PLCs for industrial automation. So less wiring is required. So wiring between devices and relay contacts are done in PLC program. Easier and faster to make changes. For PLC, the troubleshooting aids make programming easier and reduce downtime. PLCs are reliable components, make these likely to operate for years before failures. Means the life is also more. So these are some major advantages of PLCs. So these PLCs are cost effective, they are flexible, reliable and compact. PLCs have significant advantage over traditional control systems based on relay and pneumatic systems. Okay, so we discussed the history of PLCs, definition of PLCs and some advantages of PLCs. So what tasks do PLC perform? The logic control tasks such as interlocking, sequencing, timing and counting. So these tasks are performed by PLCs. In addition, PLC can perform a variety of calculations, communications and monitoring tasks. So there are several brands of PLCs are popular. So if we see the American brands, then Allen Bradley, Gold Moricon, Texas Instruments, General Electric, Westinghouse, Cutter Hammer, Square D. These are American brands for PLCs. These are some of the leading brands. Then European brands Siemens, Klockner, Armoller, Festo, Telemecanique, and some Japanese brands are there for PLCs. Toshiba, Omron, Fanuc, and Mitsubishi. These are some leading brands from Japan. So it is used in various applications in manufacturing, in machining, food and beverages, metals, powder, power generations, mining, petrochemical and chemical industries. These PLCs are popularly used. Then PLCs are available in various sizes. So you can categorize these PLCs in small, medium and large size. So small size means it covers unit with up to 128 input outputs and memories up to 2 kilobytes. These PLCs are capable of providing simple to advanced levels of machine controls. Then medium type PLCs. These have up to 2048 input outputs and memories up to 32 kilobytes. And large PLCs, the most sophisticated units of PLCs families, they have up to 8192 input outputs and memories up to 750 kilobytes and can control individual production process or entire plant. So these are different types of PLCs available 8 years back. So now also, so many advanced and high capable PLCs are available. Compact with high capable PLCs are available right now. So I have taken this, referred this text from book, okay, which is 10 years back, 8 years back. It is from 2013, okay. So nowadays, so the variety of PLCs are available. So let us discuss the major components of a common PLC. Major components of common PLC. See, you can see that a central processor is there. So to process the input model is required. So input model receives the signals or parameters from sensors, push buttons, contacts, limit switches, etc. It receives the input parameters. To run that processor, power supply is required. Then for programming devices required. Then it processes and produces the output variables to output model. Okay. So the output is directly supplied to the solenoids, contactors, alarms, motors, etc. actuators. Okay. To perform a work according to the program. So these are major components of PLCs. So power supply provides the voltage needed to run the primary PLC component. Input output models provides signal conversion and isolation between the internal logic. So level signals inside the PLC and the fields high level signals. Whereas the processor provides intelligence to command and govern the activity of entire PLC system. Then programming device is used to enter the desired program that will determine the sequence of operation and control of process equipment or driven machine. So there are input output models. So the input output interface section of a PLC connects to its two external field devices. The main purpose of the input output interface is to condition the various signals received from or sent to the external input and output devices. Input modules converts signals from discrete or analog input devices to logic levels acceptable to PLC's processor. So output models convert signal from processor to levels capable of driving the connected discrete or analog output devices. So you can see the input model. So it is a DC input model. So used to drop the voltage to logic level, the current limiting resistor is used. So from input device, the current limiting resistors is used. Then opto-isolators are used. So it is needed to prevent voltage transient from damage to the processor and helps reduce the effect of electrical noise. Then buffer, filters, hysteresis circuits are used, and then it is passed to the processor. So this is a DC input model. Then similarly, AC input model is used. In AC input model also there are rectifiers are used. Here in case of DC the current limiting resistors and isolators are used. In case of AC, opto-isolators are used. But rectifier resistor network is used to convert the AC input to DC and drops the voltage to logic level. Okay, from input device the rectifier resistors are used, then opto-isolators are used, and then buffer, filter and hysteresis circuits are used, and then input is supplied to the processor. So this is about AC input. If AC input is there, many times AC or DC input models, so if both signals are available, then TTL circuit is used. Okay, then opto-isolators and amplifier relay, tri-AC are used. Okay, then different types of input output circuits are used in PLCs. That is pilot duty outputs, then general purpose outputs and discrete outputs, and analog outputs and special purpose outputs. Let us discuss all types of input output circuits step by step, one by one. So the pilot duty outputs of this type typically are used to drive high current electromagnetic loads such as solenoids, relays, valves and motor starters. These loads are highly inductive and exhibit a large inrush current. So pilot duty output should be capable of withstanding an inrush current of 10 times the rated load for short period of time without failure. Then general purpose output. So these are usually low voltage output and low current and are used to drive indicating lights and other non-inductive loads. Noise suppression may or may not be included on this type of models. Then third is discrete input. So discrete input, the circuits of this type are used to sense the status of limit switches, push buttons and other discrete sensors. So noise suppression is of great importance in preventing false indication of inputs turning on or off because of noise. Then circuits of analog input output. So these sense or drive analog signals. Analog inputs come from devices such as thermocouple, strain gauges or pressure sensors that provides a signal voltage or current that is derived from the process variables. Standard analog input signals, that is 4 to 20 milliampere or 0 to 10 volts. The analog output can be used to drive devices such as voltmeters, XY recorders, servo motor drives and valves through the use of transducers. The standard analog output signals are of 4 to 20 milliampere, 0 to 5 volt and 0 to 10 volt. Then fifth type of input output circuit is special purpose input output. The circuit of this type are used to interface PLCs to very specific types of circuits such as servo motors, stepping motors, PIDs, that is proportional plus integral plus derivative loops, high speed pulse countings, resolver and decoders input, then multiplex displays and keyboards. So this module allows for limiting access to timer and counter presets and other PLC's variables without requiring a programming ladder. So this is about input output circuit. So you can see the PLC, the input buttons are there, push buttons are there, then output, the motor or lamps are there, and this is the PLC. Okay, this is in today's lecture. In this topic we discussed the basics of PLC, definition of PLC, the history of PLCs, then advantages of PLCs, then input output and components of PLCs. So next part of the PLC we'll discuss in next lecture. Thank you.